All right, so I'm going to go ahead and address this comment here. It says, why would I tip before I get my order? Tip is extra for going beyond, being kind, pleasant, professional, etc. So just to clarify, we are talking about like DoorDash, Instacart, those kind of services. One of the reasons that you should add a tip before your order is because unfortunately we live in a capitalistic society and a tip is the bare minimum. But if that's not enough for you, as a DoorDash driver and an Instacart driver, we can see what the tip is ahead of time. So if you add a $0 tip, what's going to happen is it's going to get passed around between drivers, or it's just going to sit there until someone accepts it. Now, after a while, DoorDash and Instacart will slowly start adding money if no one is accepting the order. But at that point, especially with DoorDash, your food is just sitting there, it's getting cold. And then with Instacart, it's just going to take a long time for someone to start your order. Another point I want to make is that especially after COVID, 90% of the orders I do are no contact orders. So when it comes to like being kind, going beyond, being pleasant, that doesn't really apply to like 90% of the orders I'm doing. Like I'm just picking up your food and dropping it off at the door. And I'm not saying that every DoorDash order is perfect because I know there are issues. But you can adjust your tip afterward, especially with Instacart. And with most of these services, you can adjust your tip after it's done. So why wouldn't you just put the tip there and then if you have an issue, take it off? Because to me, this kind of just like feels like an excuse for you to find something wrong and find a reason not to leave a tip. Because if you're planning on leaving a tip regardless, then why would it make a difference if you were doing it before the order or afterward? And I'm not saying that a tip should not be a reflection of this stuff, but again, a tip is the absolute bare minimum. We live in a capitalistic society, and the reason that we don't get paid a sufficient amount through DoorDash, Instacart, or even when it comes to serving by these restaurants, these people getting paid $2, $3, $4 an hour, it's because the tip is supposed to make up for the other part of it. DoorDash and all of these services, their job is to connect you with us, the personal shopper, the personal driver. So like when you pay your fee to them, that's the service that you're paying for. And at this point, I'm just convinced that people who find an excuse not to tip just like lack empathy and they're probably narcissists. Because I for sure don't have a lot of money, but if I am asking for a service, it's not a big deal for me to find an extra $4 or $5 to add onto my order. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to me that people want to argue about like whether a tip is worth it or not.